Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone who is watching us, and welcome to Sports Redefined, where we bring you the latest buzz from the world of sports. Today, we have a very special guest with us. He is an expert in the world of football and is here to share his insights on the latest happenings in the game. Please welcome Ali bin Ahsan. It's our pleasure, Ali. Can you tell our viewers little bit about yourself?
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me. My name is Ali bin Ahsan. I'm a 22 years old footballer, and I'm actually a student as well. Throughout my career, I've played at every school level, at college, university, and in our district tournaments as well. I'm currently residing in Gujranwala, and I'm currently in the district team of Gujranwala as well. While in the local club, I play for DC Colony. Other than that, I've been following football regularly, and I am a very avid football enthusiast as well as an analyst of the games.
Okay, so let's dive straight into our discussion. My first question is about the scouting networks of the football clubs.
Okay,
As you
so
would have known, how
yeah,
important are they in today's game?
I think scouting networks, if you look at a structure of a football club, it all resides on the young talent. All right, it all resides on what is the future of the players. Normally, if you consider any club, most of the time it will have around like a squad that consists of around 25 plus players, and that is a senior squad. Now, the problem actually relies that you need a very good, firm, young squad in the reserve that can maybe take the place in the future of this current senior squad. So scouting plays a very important role in that, and it is not about only that you're going to have to scout in your local area. You're going to have to scout nationwide. You're going to first go for your city, then the residing area. You can go into the villages, and after that, I think if you go for the international clubs, they obviously go throughout the entire globe. So scouting plays a very important role. I mean, you got young talent in, you got multicultural values in, and you got the exchange of the traditions as well, and obviously every area has their own particular nature of football. So that exchange actually helps a lot for a footballer to settle in, and most of the time it turns out good. If you look into England, like for instance, in the English Premier League, only 80% or maybe 75% of the players are actually of England. Other players are actually from the international other countries of the other European states, and that actually helps them a lot to settle in and play in the harsh conditions of the Premier League. So yeah, all in all, scouting network, it's really important. And any club, I mean, even if it's a local club, you're gonna want to have a good scouting network so that you can get in and attract new players.
So, so you are currently in the Pakistani circuit, and how do you think the scouting works here in Pakistan?
In Pakistan scouting, you can say it's almost equivalent to none. I mean, it's not. All right, because of the structure of the football that we have. We have departments rather than football club franchises, and that is the number one key that plays a number one role in the scouting network of Pakistan. I mean, we don't have scouting network particularly because of that. Because in department you have players that are on the permanent contracts. All right, so any department, if you go for Pakistan Army, they're never going to hire new players because they already have a whole lot of bunch of players coming into that to their hiring process. So that is one of the biggest reasons I think in Pakistan the scouting networks, it's gonna suck. All right, my words are a bit harsh, but it is what it is. It's equivalent to none, and it is all because of the football departments that we have. As long as the departments are there, we're never going to have a scouting network. I mean, even if if it's about it's not only limited to national, it's limited to local football as well. So any local club is never going to have a scouting network.
Sure, that's an interesting point actually. Moving on, what are your thoughts on the role of VAR in recent times? Actually,
Okay, so VAR, it has a mixed role. I mean, I can't really say that it's good. I can't really say that it's bad. I mean, as a footballer, if the decision goes in my favor, I'm gonna say it's good. All right, and if it goes against me, then obviously I'm going to be the person that hates VAR the most. But all in all, I think as a footballer, if I'm on the field, I feel much safer while playing in a VAR. I would feel much safer watching my football team, for instance, Manchester United play when there's VAR, because we know that like in a better world it's going to have a positive reaction. All right, it's going to have a good outcome. So yeah, it's sort of a mixed perspective thing, opinion thing, but all in all I think it's really good to have VAR right now, and it has helped us a lot in a lot of games. I mean, we've seen in the World Cup, earlier we've seen in the Champions League as well, and in the Premier League. I mean, yeah, it's playing a really big role because every match day we see a couple of goals overturned, a couple of goals given, and most importantly, I think VAR plays a role in the bookings because we've seen a lot of players get red card, and then the VAR, it takes a look and it says that that tackle wasn't that harsh, so it gives a player an opportunity to come back in the field and work on himself. And yeah, I think it's really good to have VAR these days, and because we've seen what happens. I mean, once a match has been finished, we see all of the pundits, players like us, fans like us, we all go on the Instagram, on our social media pages, and all we all bash the referees. So the referees, they get a bit of leniency from the viewers, that I think VR gives them that opportunity.
Okay. So recently we had Maria Jamila Khan at our show, and she was talking about some leagues which are going to be happening in Pakistan in future. So any news about that?
Uh, Football leagues in Pakistan, I think the first thing that we have to work on right now is restoring the actual federation that we have, the normalization committee. I mean, it's working on, and that is really good. We've seen the national teams come up. We've seen the women's national team come up as well. We're playing matches as well. We got ones in the Maldives. We got the woman playing in Maria. You mentioned she scored that infamous game, famous goal against Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia, and I mean that goal alone itself speaks a lot about where football of Pakistan is. That we're celebrating a goal right now while other nations are actually celebrating trophies. So
Yes.
a league is evident and it's going to have to come sooner or later. But right now, I think what the focus of the entire structure or the committee and the management is to just work on the infrastructure, get the players back in, get the contracts back in, get the financial backing of the government as well as the FIFA back in, so that they can actually support and as well as launch new clubs. And obviously, if you want a league, then you're gonna have to first get sponsors, and for sponsors, you're gonna have to get exposure. And right now, Pakistan team, it doesn't have that kind of exposure. I mean, football alone in our country, it's rarely watched. I mean, you hardly see anyone watching football right now. So that speaks a lot about where our country is right now. A league, then again, a league is evident, but right now I don't see any league happening in sooner. At least in 2023, we won't see the National Challenge Cup. Yeah, it's going to happen, but then again, it's only limited to the department. So for an open tournament to happen, I don't think so. But then again, if you look into the private sector, there are a lot of leagues happening. Courtesy of, if you see in Islamabad, we're going to see the Islamabad Super League, ISIL, and that is actually being run by Haris bin Harun, the president of the Popo FC. So that's a really big youth club, and that is going to be a really big football league taking place in Islamabad, and it's going to have VAR as well. So you can get the idea about what it's going to be and how big of a role it's going to play for the football of Islamabad. Because right now we're going to have to focus on how we can actually improve on our local level and then work on to the national and obviously international.
Certainly. So let's switch gears a bit and talk about new UEFA Conference League. What do you think of this new addition to European football landscape?
Uh, I mean, if you talk about the year it launched, the UEFA Conference League, I was actually surprised and I was actually in shock because of another UEFA competition. Because you got the Champions League in, you've got the Europa League in, and then all of a sudden the teams that finished in like sixth, seventh position, now they're playing in another league that's called the UEFA Conference League. From a football review, that's good. We obviously get to see more matches. We obviously get to see more European matches in. You got teams like the best of the best going against each other. But to be honest, I think it's more of a league that is launched merely for the financial backings of a certain group, because that is what it is. I mean, yeah, we've seen Roma winning. Roma that was managed by Jose Mourinho in the past win the Conference League. It actually makes the football game, I think, the European competition a lot boring, because you got three tournaments, three leagues running at the same moment, and it's all sort of a mess. I don't really see the need of a conference league right now. I think the Europa League and the Champions League were doing a fantastic job, but then again, we're not. I'm not in the position to make those decisions. Right, neither are
Yeah.
any of us. So I think it's all going down to the marketing perspective as to where they can actually getting new players and new fresh money, I guess. Yeah.
So Moving on, let's talk about the English Premier League's current race. Who do you think will win the title this season?
Uh, if you asked me this question a week ago, I would have said maybe Manchester United because I'm a Manchester United supporter. All right, we were flying high in the past week, but ever since that defeat against Liverpool, that 7-0 defeat, things have been a disaster. I mean, if you look into the table right now, you've got Arsenal winning all of their last 5 matches, and they're at a very good position. If you look at Manchester City, yeah, they've got the race in. They're still in the race. I mean, Eric Haaland, he's been fantastic. He's been phenomenal, all right? And he's certainly going to break the records of Alan Shearer as well or Andy Cole. Manchester United, they're never going to be in the title race. That's something for sure because of the Liverpool 7-0 defeat. So, yeah, if I'm going to put my money on, I think it's going to be Arsenal and City. I mean, City are a fantastic team, but I don't think so. The City will ever have a chance against Manchester City unless they have a game in hand. And even then, I think Arsenal, they're just too tactically strong right now that Michael Arteta has certainly pulled something out of a rabbit right now because they're still at the top. We've seen Arsenal go at the top of the table during the winter transfer, but this is something else. This is phenomenal. And credits were due. I think Michael Arteta has done a fantastic job. And certainly it's Arsenal league unless we see Arsenal lose 3 games in a row, and then we can obviously count City in. But until then, I don't see that happening.
Yeah. So, Gareth Southgate recently announced England's squad for Euro 2024 qualifiers. There have been some surprise inclusions and exclusions that will I will allow you to talk about. Can you put some light on that?
I think first what we need to discuss is Gary Southgate's role in the England football managerial position. I think it's we've seen in the past that we did not have Jadon Sancho in the World Cup, and that certainly amazed all of us. I mean, yeah, Jadon Sancho has been going through a lot of issues, but Gary Southgate, you're gonna have to ask yourself. I think he's gonna have to ask himself as well. What has he done for the England football? I mean, in the past, England, yeah, sure, they've got in the finals of the Euro. They lost on penalties. Before that, they lost the semi-finals. Then they finished third. England, I don't see them going to any direction. I mean, yeah, they've got Harry Kane. He's a fantastic striker. But the manager, I think it's just not working in, and I haven't really seen the squad list for the England football team right now. But from what I've seen in the past 2 years or three since Gary Southgate came in, I just don't think that Gary is doing a fantastic job at the England football team. I just don't think so because I haven't seen any improvement tactically wise. All right, and all in all, it's just a mess right now with England. I mean, you see, if even if you look into World Cup, the only confident sides you see are the sides like Germany. You've got Brazil and you've got Argentina right now as well, the underdogs that actually won the World Cup. So it's just amazing that what they're doing right now. So I think Gary Southgate, I don't know what the squad is right now, but all in all, I really wish that England do get a very good squad. But then again, it all goes down to the tactical management about how the manager actually leads its team and actually manages his team rather than what type of player that he actually chooses.
So we are trying to pull out the squad for 2024 Euro qualifier actually for the England.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, UEFA Champions League quarterfinals draw has taken shape. What is your analysis of the encounters and who are you rooting for personally?
Personally, I'm actually a Manchester United fan. I'm more focused on the Europa League right now. But if you ask about the Champions League, I think this year Manchester City might just win their first Champions League. I mean, might. It's just might as well. They've got against a game against Bayern Munich, and Bayern are a fantastic team. I think they play for fun right now in the Champions League. To be honest, if you look at the other side, you've got Real Madrid, the kings of Europe. I think they personally, I think they own the competition. And on the other side, you've got great sides like Inter Milan, Napoli. But I think if it goes down to the wire, then we might see Napoli against either Real Madrid or Manchester City, or if Bayern actually wins it. But all in all, my money would be on Manchester City this year. I think they might just snatch in a Champions League title right now, and they are in a really good position as well. I mean, they've got what they lacked was a striker, a number nine striker, and now they've got that Eric Haaland, and he's scoring goals, and he's scoring a lot of goals. We've seen in the last game that they played a 7-0 comfortable, comprehensive win, where they just never looked like backing, and they wanted more. The game just ended. I mean, it's football. The game's gonna end at 90 minutes, but if you gave them a couple of minutes more, I think Aaron Haaland would have scored another one and maybe a back-to-back double hat trick. So yeah, I think Manchester City, I think they might just win this year's Champions League.
So Marcus Rashford has been a quite a player this year. What are your takes on that? Yeah, here we have the squad for actually the
England,
England's.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's start with the goalkeepers. You've got Jordan Pickford, you got Nick Pope, you got Aaron Ramsdale. I think they are fantastic goalkeepers. We're going to see Jordan Pickford actually start more than Aaron Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsdale has been doing a good job at Arsenal, but Pickford's going to be the first choice for Southgate. We've seen in the past 2 years. In terms of defenders, I just don't see why they're always going to go for Harry Maguire. I mean, he just hasn't played for Manchester United that many matches, and he's always manages to make it to the team. Get someone in, get John Stones in, and you
yeah.
got a lot of good players in. So Aresi James is there. So I think that's going to be my biggest question to Southgate. I always do that. I always ask, what is Harry Maguire doing there in the national team? I mean, yeah, he does a good job. He does a fine job, but at club level, he's not good, and I don't see him improving any sooner in the national competitions as well. On the right back, Kieran Trippier, I think he's a fantastic choice for him. Racy James for Chelsea, yeah, good. John Stones is there. John Stone's never gonna play a game. That's something for certain. He's going to go for Eric Dyer and Harry Maguire more than John Stones or the Eric Dyer combination. On the right back, then you got Kyle Walker in, and you got Bell Chilwell, who's going to play as a left back along with Luke Shaw. Shaw might just make it more on the ground rather than Chilwell. Chilwell might just sit at the bench more because we've seen how Luke Shaw has played the last Euro competition, and he was fantastic. So Luke Shaw's gonna have a much more of a chance to play in the matches rather than Ben Chilwell, and especially in the form that Manchester United currently is, he's gonna be the likely choice for Southgate to go in. In terms of midfield, you got Declan Rice, you got Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, Conor Gallagher, Jude Bellingham, Mason Mount, James Madison. You see all these midfielders, you see only one player that actually has a lot of experience, and that is Jordan Henderson, and that is the reason why he's still sticking with it. Southgate, we've seen him play as a center defensive midfield again and again, drop back to actually defend more than actually play as a striking or an attacking role. We're going to see Jude Bellingham play more because Dortmund has been amazing. He's in a great form, and I think a lot of clubs are after Bellingham as well. Mason Mount might just be an itsy bits again because Chelsea has been sloppy this season, and Mason Mount obviously hasn't been playing that many games as well. James Madison, I think that is what the kind of player that Gary Southgate should play behind a striker as a central attacking midfield, because I think he can really provide that sort of intent as well as those creative passes that actually can break the opposition's defense. So I think James Madison might be a good choice. Again, I'm happy that you got Conor Gallagher in coming in, a new player, and he's obviously gonna have to enjoy all the time that he actually gets. I mean, of course, uh, it's still a very initial squad in, but he has a fantastic opportunity to make it to the top right now. In terms of forwards, I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to see Harry Kane play in as a striker, and in the left wing we might see Marcus Rashford. And as far as the right wing is concerned, we're going to see either Phil Foden or Saka. And Saka has been brilliant. I mean, he's been phenomenal in Arsenal, and he's carrying the game. And then you got Jack Grealish in, and Jack Grealish, I mean, he's gonna probably play more as a substitute player rather than a starting 11, and that is what we've seen in the past matches as well. Ivan Tooney, a young, 26 years old, coming from Bradford. I think it's very good that he's in there, but he's gonna obviously warm the bench more rather than the other, because you see you've got a lot of competition in. You got Foden, you got Grealish, you got Harry Kane in. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult for the young players to play in. But all in all, I think Gary Southgate, he obviously needs to work on the midfield a bit more, because you're gonna have to get a holding midfielder like Jordan Henderson, something like a central defensive midfielder that can actually boss the game as a playmaker, and that is something that England doesn't have. It relies on their young flair wingers, You got Marcus Rashford in, and you still don't see Jadon Sancho in. So that's another question to rise again, because Southgate hasn't been kind on him, and Sancho has been missing again. So you got Ivan Toney in. So I think that Jadon Sancho, yeah, maybe I would have chosen Jadon Sancho irrespective of Manchester United. But yeah, I think Jadon Sancho does deserve a spot here. And obviously in the defense, you got Harry Maguire. And obviously, much more better players to choose rather than Harry Maguire right now.
Yeah, that was quite a detailed analysis actually,
Yeah,
and I was quite impressive also.
yeah.
Uh, so now moving on to League One and other leagues, PSG star Lionel Messi is seriously considering Barcelona move. Actually, how will this move affect the career of Messi? Nobody knows. What are your thoughts about that?
Raza, to be honest, this is something that we've always like anticipated, and every season, at the end of the season, we always hear rumors. And this is
Yeah,
another rumor. To be honest, PSG, they're never going to let go of Lionel Messi. And if you talk about Barcelona, Barcelona can't really afford him. I mean, they are in a financial crisis right now. They're going to have to pay around 95 million, I guess. I'm not sure about the amount that they have to pay around. I think it was 175 million back to the La Liga in order to actually qualify for the transfer regulations that they have right now. So I just don't see it happening. I mean, I would love to see Messi again in the Barcelona shirt. I think it is something that all of us would really want right now. But PSG, I just don't see that they will ever let go of a player like of his quality, and he's still doing a fantastic job. I mean, recently he just won the World Cup, and he's doing a fantastic role. I think most of the assists that you see from Kylian Mbappe, it's from him. It's from him. He's leading the team. He's playing as a good playmaker. He's playing as a good number 10. Yeah, obviously he doesn't have that sort of impact as a pressing player, but in terms of playmaking, I think there isn't anyone in the world that is a much more creative playmaker than Lionel Messi right now. But to Barcelona, I just don't think so. I think we're just getting too high right now, and obviously we're saying that because we've seen Manchester United get Ronaldo back in, but Messi to Barcelona, I just don't see it happening.
agreed upon. So, some latest developments suggest that Cristiano Ronaldo has been picked in Portugal's squad for the Euro 2024 qualifiers. How do you see that?
Yeah, Ronaldo is there. I mean, when that defeat against Morocco happened, he was shattered to pieces, and we all saw that. And obviously, he had a lot of issues with the Manchester United club as well. And now he's in Al Nassr. He's playing in a different, completely different league, a different nation, different football. And to see him in the national side, I think it's really good. I mean, it's just the mentality of the guy. He just never likes to give up, and he's always going to do more and more. The moment that you think, or the moment that we think that Ronaldo might just give up now or might just loosen up a bit, I think that is one of those. I think that is the moment where Cristiano Ronaldo always pops up, and this is one of the reasons why he's still in the game. He's still in the national team. He's a fantastic striker. You give him the ball, 90% of the chances he's gonna finish the ball in. But yeah, he's around now 39 years old. I think you might just see a young striker in rather than Cristiano Ronaldo right now. But he's a fantastic player. He's a veteran, and obviously he can play a really good role in the national team. At least as a mentor, he can. But as a player, obviously, I would really love to see him score for Portugal as well.
Yeah. So when we were seeing the squad, actually, I asked you about Rashford, Marcus
Yeah,
Rashford. So what are your thoughts about him? He has been exceptional this season.
Marcus Rashford. I just don't know what happened. I mean, it's all of a sudden I mean, a couple of months ago, you got Marcus Rashford in, and he's missing all around. He's shooting the ball in the crowd. He's shooting the ball in the Stratford and more. And in the last 4 months, I think it's just a different story. He's got three players of the player of the month award, and the manager as well. Marcus Rashford has been phenomenal, and we saw that again in the Real Betis game last Thursday when Manchester United played the second leg in the Europa League. We saw Rashford score a beautiful goal outside the box, 34, 35 yards out, and that was a brilliant goal. And so he's in a terrific form, and I think his celebration proves that. And yeah, I think he's in the form of his life. He's playing what Manchester United needed. He's playing as a winger. He's playing as a striker. Of course, you got Vogue Vegas playing as well, but Vegas has been more of a pressing player. He's been playing as a number 10 as well, but he just never gets that, and he only has scored one goal, so that actually speaks a lot of what Weghorst's role in Manchester United team right now.
Uh, so we have a question
Hmm.
from Manas Chishti. Your thoughts on Pakistan football with proper facilities? Can they make a big breakthrough?
Of course they can. I think any country, any nation can actually make their breakthrough if they get the proper facilities. And to be honest, it's more about the proper opportunities rather than facilities. You've got grounds of football in Pakistan. You've got a lot of local grounds in as well. You're going to see football there, but you don't see the opportunities. And the opportunities, to be honest, they rise when you have a proper infrastructure. And Pakistan doesn't have any sort of infrastructure in terms of football. In throughout the entire year, you only get one international cup, that is the Pakistan National Cup or the Pakistan Challenge Cup, and that's it. Other than that, you see zero football being broadcasted all around our nation. So I think it all actually goes to the opportunities. I think players need more football. It's the facilities. I think, to be honest, every club right now, in terms of local, you got gyms in, you got grounds in. Player have those, but they just don't have that opportunity to play at a higher level. If you look at cricket, you got Pakistan Super League in, you got domestic tournaments in, but in football you don't see that, and that is one of the major issues why Pakistan has been struggling. Can they make a breakthrough? Yes, they can. They obviously can. We have fantastic talent. I think we've seen that. We got Maria in. You got our international team, the men's team. They're doing a fantastic job. They're playing their game against Maldives again. So yeah, their football is being restored, but to actually make the breakthrough, I think it all goes down to the opportunities. And these matches, the ones that our teams are playing, they will help a lot.
Okay. So we have a segment called Guess the Star. So we
Okay.
will show an image of a star and you will have to guess who is that.
Okay.
So in a minute,
I didn't know that. Now I do. Oh,
that
that's
one.
easy. I think that's gonna be one of the most easiest one. I think I would
Yeah.
have like I would have. I think it's obvious. It's Gerard Piqué.
Yeah.
That's Gerard Piqué, right? Okay.
Obvious one actually.
Yeah, it's really obvious. I think it gets difficult now.
So we have another segment in which we will ask you a couple of questions and you will have to answer that.
Okay, sure.
In the group. So which city hosted the first ever UEFA Champions League final?
Oh, that's gonna be really difficult. Do I get options for this?
No, you can.
Oh, okay. I think maybe. Uh, It's going to be difficult.
It's-
I think it has to
it-
be in Spain, and maybe in Spain. I think Madrid. I think maybe in Madrid, Bernabeu.
So Paris hosted the first ever UEFA Champions League final between Real Madrid and Reims.
So good thing there is Madrid there as well, if not the stadium.
But it was quite close actually.
Yeah, I actually just assumed. I think they might have done. Okay, who won the Champions League final in 2000? Okay, in 2000, you got in Liverpool. In Liverpool never won that. The Champions League 2004. I remember perfectly. I think it was Porto.
Let's
Jose
see the
Mourinho.
answer. Real Madrid actually beat Valencia
Oh,
3-0.
was it Valencia? Wow.
Yes.
Well,
So
that actually adds a lot to it. I think when did actually Porto win? I'm gonna have to Google that as well. I'm gonna ask myself that again.
so let's move on. It's certainly a tight race this season. And speaking of tight races, let's move on to the UEFA Europa League and Champions League predictions. Wearing the
The
prediction hat, who
yeah.
do you think will come out on top in each competition?
Okay. In the Champions League, I've already mentioned. I think it's going to be Manchester City this season. In Europa League, we're going to see a lot of, I think, different predictions coming in from all around the world. You got Manchester United in terrific form. You got Juventus as well, and then on the other hand, you got Sporting Lisbon playing really fantastic football as well. I think it will go to if Manchester United beats Sevilla, I think Manchester United will lift the Europa League. But if they don't, I think it has to be Roma. I think Jose Mourinho will outlast any team that comes in the final, and most probably he's going to play the final because we've seen the other group. It's not that competitive as the one on the left side where you got Manchester United in, you got Sevilla in, you got Juventus, you got Lisbon in. So it's going to be difficult, but I think that if Manchester United doesn't make to the final of the Europa League, then Roma will have a fantastic opportunity to win the Europa League, and that is because of the fact that they actually won the last year's Conference League, and that was the first European title for Jose Mourinho playing for managing AS Roma. And Mourinho knows a lot about Europa League now as well. I think he won it for Manchester United, and Manchester United only won the that was the first European trophy that Manchester United had under any manager other than Sir Alex Ferguson, and that was way back in 2007 and 8 season where they beat Chelsea in the final. So I think it goes down to AS Roma or maybe Manchester United. If Manchester United makes to the final, I think they can win that game quite uh, competitively. I think they can win. They can outrun AS Roma. And
Well,
in the
those are
conference,
some.
yeah, and the conference league, you got conference league as well. I think this is why I was saying that the additions of the new leagues, I mean, they just open up a whole world of football, and you got a lot of football happening right now. And in the conference league, I would go for West Ham. I think West Ham are in a terrific form, and we've seen that play. We've seen them play as well. David Moyes has been managing brilliantly, and I think West Ham might just make it, and it will be really good if you see Manchester City winning, you got Manchester United winning, and then West Ham. So that will actually shut off a lot of pundits that criticize that England doesn't have that sort of competitive football league, and they always prefer La Liga because we've seen Real Madrid winning. You got Sevilla winning the most Europa League. You got Real Madrid winning the most Champions League and Conference League. I mean, it's a new league, but it will obviously mean a lot to the England fans in to the England football and to the English Premier League as well and the Championship. That if all three competitions are actually won by the English team, so yeah, I think West Ham have a really great chance to win this year.
Well, those are some interesting predictions. We'll have to wait and see how they pan out.
Yeah,
So,
obviously.
on an ending note, is it Messi or Ronaldo? We will have you at the end.
You guys asked Mario as well, and I think my answer is quite similar. I'm not a fond of these two players. I mean, I love Ronaldo because of the fact that he actually wore the Manchester United shirt. I have great deal of respect for Messi, and he's played really terrific football against us. But as a footballer, my favorite footballer is Wayne Rooney of Manchester United. I mean, he's retired. He doesn't play anymore. He manages DC United. But if I had to choose between Ronaldo or Messi, I would go for Ronaldo, and that is because of the fact that I am a right-footed player. So a right-footed player will obviously go for Ronaldo over Messi. So yeah, I think Ronaldo might be my choice in it.
Well, that brings us to the end of our discussion. Ali, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights. We had an interesting session with regarding present football scenarios. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Join us next time for more Sports Redefined. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.